Welcome to the Grace and Grit podcast, made for women who want their healthiest years to be ahead of them, not behind them. Join your host, Courtney Townley, right now as she breaks down the fairy tale health story you have been chasing all of your life into sensible action steps and lasting change. Welcome to the Grace and Grit podcast. This is your host, Courtney Townley. Now, I always start this podcast with thanking you, the listener, for being here. And that seems especially important today because we are going to be talking about the health-promoting benefits of gratitude. And we're going to practice expressing gratitude for something an awful lot of women seem to be at war with, which is their body. So get ready, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to have you join me in extending gratitude for the thing that lets you do life. I realize that we have podcast listeners from all over the world, but here in the US, we are approaching Thanksgiving. I realize it's a holiday that not everyone celebrates, but regardless of where you live or whether you choose to celebrate this holiday or not, we could always use the reminder of what a powerful practice giving thanks really is. Now, you have undoubtedly heard that there are benefits to establishing a daily gratitude practice. Gratitude is a superfood for both your mental and physical well-being. A 2009 National Institute of Health study showed that your hypothalamus is activated when we feel gratitude or display acts of kindness. Now, you may remember from 8th grade biology, the hypothalamus is the part of your brain that regulates a number of our bodily functions, including our appetite, sleep, temperature, metabolism, and even growth. And when the hypothalamus is activated through things like gratitude, all of these things are improved. And when your appetite is regulated, you're getting deep and high quality sleep, your temperature is regulated, your metabolism is working optimally, you experience better overall health. Now, acts of kindness and feelings of gratitude also flood our brains with that wonderful chemical called dopamine. When we are truly grateful for something, our brain rewards us by giving us a natural high. And this is really important to remember, especially at a time where false pleasures are everywhere. What the heck is a false pleasure? Well, a false pleasure is something that induces a high, but also comes with a lot of consequences down the road. So the sugar, the alcohol, the social media, things that give us a quick hit of dopamine, but that we, again, compounded over time, experience a lot of negative consequences from. Versus pleasures that actually promote well-being, which gratitude is. When we think in a way that promotes gratitude, when we act in a way that expresses gratitude, we also release dopamine. And the best part is there's no negative consequence on the other side of that kind of pleasure. Dopamine is also a pain reducer, right? And again, when we're talking about false pleasures, this is why so many of us reach for the sugar and for the alcohol and for the other foods that release dopamine, because it helps us to regulate pain. But again, over time, it creates more pain. So again, gratitude is such a healthy way of inducing the dopamine response. And when we feel grateful in our lives, when we express gratitude, we feel less stressed, which if you listen to last week's episode with Irene Lyon, less stress helps us to regulate our nervous system. Now, please don't hear me saying you are supposed to live a life with no stress. But gratitude can go a long way in helping you to manage your total stress load. It also helps to reduce depression and even anxiety when we are regularly expressing gratitude for things in our life. And when we experience less depression and anxiety, we have more energy and vitality. So one of my favorite things about gratitude is that it's a way of preventing myself from taking things for granted. Because man, is that easy to do. It's a way of reminding myself of the things that I value. And we tend to take better care of the things that we value. I always think of like an object, like think of something in your home that every time you look at it, you really feel gratitude. You feel appreciation. For me, there's some pieces of art in my home that I feel that way about. I have pictures on the bureau in my bedroom that I really just make me feel so much love and gratitude for the things in my life. I have jewelry from my grandmother that when I wear it, it just reminds me of her. And I definitely feel like I have an expression of gratitude when I wear it. And I tend to take really excellent care of the things that I value. Now, obviously, there's things that aren't objects in my life, right? That are actually people and places and a lot of other experiences that I value. But I always think that starting with like an object and reminding yourself, like maybe it's a car in your garage that you've been taking excellent care of for years and you only drive it once in a while because you value it so much. The point is, when we take time to appreciate and value the things in our life, the byproduct of that is a higher level of care. And the other thing that I love about gratitude is we get an endless supply of it. Like love, you never run out of it. There is no limit to the things you can love or be grateful for. And I think that's a very intentional thing that nature did. Because love and appreciation are forms of nutrition. Now that you've been reminded of how beneficial gratitude can be for the human body, let's actually take a few minutes to express gratitude for the human body. I love this practice because I find so many women have built a habit of looking for all that is wrong with their physiology, rather than being grateful for all that is right, for all that is going well, for all that their body allows them to do in a day. You know, there's a big difference between trying to exercise and eat a particular way because you don't like your body versus moving your body and eating a particular way out of devotion to all that your body is doing to support you. That's a really healthy and vibrant place to be operating from. I always say you can't hate your way healthy, but you sure can appreciate your way there. I don't know where you are right now. If you're driving, you're just going to have to sort of go along with me in your head. But if you're in your home or you have the opportunity to just maybe sit down for a moment or lay down on the floor, or at least find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted, I want to take you through this exercise of body appreciation. It'll only take us a few minutes. And if you're out walking in public, or you're sitting in a public place, or you are driving your car, you can just kind of walk yourself through this as we go. So I want you to begin by just taking 3 deep breaths. So taking a deep breath in through your nose and a long extended exhale through your mouth. Take a couple more of those. Deep breath in, feeling your chest rise. And exhaling, feeling your chest fall. And again, a deep breath in. And an exhale out. And take a moment to repeat after me. Continue your breath. Thank you, lungs, for supplying my body with the oxygen it so desperately needs to keep me alive. Now, as you continue your breath, rub your hands together and just hold your hands together. And again, repeat after me. Thank you, hands, for allowing me to touch all the things around me, to create the things on my heart, to hold the things that I treasure. Thank you, hands, for allowing me to share with those around me, to allow me to work and provide for myself and hold the hands of those I love. And then moving your hands to your heart, repeat after me. Thank you, heart, for pumping day in and day out without a moment's rest. You work around the clock for me, regardless of how I show up for you. And then lowering your hands onto your belly. Thank you, stomach, for digesting the food that I eat. Even though I know sometimes I make your job a little harder than it needs to be. Sliding your hands down just a little further onto your belly, a little lower. Repeating, thank you, intestines, for all the incredible work you do, absorbing nutrients, fortifying my immune system, eliminating toxins. Thank you for recruiting an army of good bacteria that support my body's ability to defend itself. Slide your hands down onto your thighs. Thank you, legs and feet and knees, for allowing me to travel through the world. Hands on your shoulders. Thank you, shoulders, for lifting and supporting and protecting me. Gently bringing your hands to your face. Feeling your eyes. Thank you, eyes, for helping me to see the beauty that is all around me. And for helping me to identify where I might plant beauty where there is none. Touching your mouth. Thank you, mouth, for allowing me to communicate, nourish, and express myself. touching your nose. Thank you, nose, for filtering the air I breathe and being such a good informant. Hands to your head, just holding your head between your hands. Thank you, brain, for processing, creating, organizing, problem solving, imagining, and for just generally being such a powerful asset. And then wrap your arms around yourself, giving yourself a great big bear hug. Thank you, body, for supporting me. Thank you, body, for allowing me to do life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Grace and Grit podcast. It is time to mend the fabric of the female health story, and it starts with you taking radical responsibility for your own self-care. You are worth the effort, and with a little grace and grit, anything is possible.